session. Uh, Good morning, everyone. Warmly welcome you all to today's session. Great and glad to see you all and here. This is the one of the network module in Microsoft Azure certification path, and today we will be covering configure configure secure access to your workload using Azure Virtual Networks. We will in this entire event we will go through topics like virtual networks, virtual peering, network security groups, application security groups, and even the Azure firewall part. Our speaker is today my colleague Lakshan Umesh. He is Microsoft's most valuable profession and micro certified trainer and cloud solution architect with over 6 years of work experience on local and international projects around the world. If you having any questions, please feel free to use Q&A area. I will be taking care of the Q&A session during the event. My name is Nivanta Vikramasinghe. I am also an Microsoft certified trainer and working as a cloud engineer. Without wasting any time, we can start our event. Let's get started. Uh, Akshan.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning. Hope you can see my screen and hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. As my colleague Nivanta mentioned earlier, this training will help you gain knowledge on creating and configuring virtual networks, network routing, DNS, and network security services such as Azure Firewall and network security groups. So first of all, let me show you what module that we are going to discuss today. So basically this is the module that we are covering today. Microsoft Applied Skill configuring secure access to your workload using Azure networking. So this has multiple modules available. So we will be walk through each and every module here. So we will cover everything here. Once we completed this, you can just navigate to this link. We will be posting this link in the chat, so my colleague will be sharing those information during the session, so you can check and follow the whatever the modules information during the session while I'm doing. So basically first of all, I'm asking you to, before checking these modules, first of all logging with your Microsoft account first, then start following this session. So because I'm asking to do that, because you can track your records using this. So you can once you come back again to this module, so you can continue the session, the all of the information from top to bottom. Once you complete it, so each and every module has its own information, and finally they have kind of a assessment. So you need to complete this assessment. Once you complete each and every section, there will be final assessment here. So once you completed that, so it will be taking around 2 hours to complete. For if you fail to do that, so it will take another 72 hours to refresh it again. So better to do it first time, right? Okay, let me move ahead with the slide deck first. So as I mentioned earlier and my colleague mentioned earlier, these are the services that we are covering today's session. Basically the virtual networks, network security group, application security group, routing tables, DNS, Azure private DNS source, Azure firewall, file policy. Those will be covering during the session today. Okay. This is the prerequisites for this course. So basically we will assume that you have some kind of fundamental knowledge of Azure portal to create resources, basic knowledge of enterprise networking, cloud networking concept, and networking security concept like firewall, routing, access control list, as well as like network concept like virtual network, subnetting, CIDR. So those information, we assume that you have some kind of a basic knowledge of networking before doing this training. Okay, let's begin with the case study that we will be following throughout this training. Okay, let's assume that our organization is developing a new web application that will be hosted on Azure. leadership has decided to adopt enterprise scale Azure landing zone in phases, ensuring we start with a strong cloud foundation that can support this new application and future workloads. As the Azure administrator, your role is to design and configure the networking infrastructure that will be support the application. Specifically, you will be give me a second. Okay, sorry for that. Specifically, you will be responsible for creating shared services, virtual network that provides proper isolation, segmentation. Segmentation means, so let's assume that virtual network it has multiple subnets. So we will be talking those information. So you can segmentation your virtual network into multiple portions. So we will be discuss on that as well. Then control the network traffic. So filter out the network traffic. So we will be using network security group to do the security filtration, and then protecting the web app from the malicious unauthorized access from Azure security features like network security group, Azure firewall, and then the routing traffic. For the routing, we have through the Azure firewall inspection as well as the policy enforcement, and we have also included the routing table as well. And finally, configuring the internal DNS to resolve the domain names with the environment. By the end of this training, you will get a proper understanding of creating a secure, well-structured network foundation aligned with Microsoft Enterprise Scale Architecture principles. Okay, this is the high-level architecture that we are going to talk today. I assume that most of you already know the hub and spoke architecture. If not, I will briefly describe it quickly. So basically the hub and spoke network architecture is common design pattern in Azure and network in general, used to organize, secure, and hold on. Okay, the hub and spoke network architecture is a common design pattern in Azure and also in network in general, used to organize, secure, and manage network connectivity between multiple environments efficiently. In hub and spoke architecture, you have one central hub, which hub virtual network. It is act as a kind of a core point of connectivity management and shared service. And then you have multiple spokes VNets that represent isolated workloads, applications, or environments that connect to the hub, not directly to each other. Think of like an airport system. All flight connect through the main hub airport, while the small airport spokes, which is spokes, connect via hub rather than directly to each other. So this is kind of a hub and spoke architecture. You can see we have two main virtual networks here. One is hub VNet here. This is the main endpoint for accessing in this environment, and then we have app VNet. This is the main two VNets that we are following throughout this session, and it has multiple subnet as well, like front end and back end. Before going forward, I will show you Azure landing zone, which is most important when it comes to CAF. CAF means the cloud adoption framework. When customers are moving from on-premises environment to cloud, in their journey they will be they must focusing on this architecture, cloud adoption framework, landing zone architecture. So here you can see there will be subscription called connectivity subscription. I'm not going through each and every component here because we have limited time today. So we will be focusing on hub and spoke architecture here. I will quickly go through it. So for the connectivity subscription, we have, you can see here, Azure DDoS protection, Azure DNS, Azure firewall, VPN. This is the hub VNet, right? This is the core connectivity subscription throughout this entire environment. And then we have spoke VNets that I talked before. So we have, let's say you have multiple sub applications. So you can consider this as a spoke. So multiple spokes will be paired to this connectivity subscription. As you can see here, The spoke hub network will be paired with multiple spoke VNets, virtual network peering. So this will be considered as a VNet peering with multiple spoke. Okay, I'm not going to talk about each and everything in here, so because of the time limitation. So I will be quickly going through the today's session content. Okay, let's start with create and configuring virtual networks first. So this is the agenda for virtual network and peering. So first we will talk about what is Azure Virtual Networks, what are the capabilities, then the how we can configure the subnet and the peering and all. So basically Azure Virtual Network provides the fundamental building block for your private network in Azure. This service enable you to Azure services like virtual machines to securely communicate with each other and also with the internet as well as on-premises network. When talking about the network in the Azure, it's not only for the Azure services communication, so we need to integrate with other component as well, right? So basically let's say you need to connect with the on-premises servers that you have. What you can do is, so you need to like a secure connection between like a IPsec tunnel. In that case we need to build like kind of a virtual Azure VPN, or we can utilize kind of a firewall appliance like Fortinet or Palo Alto. There will be third party solutions will be there in Azure marketplace as well. So you can utilize that kind of a solution to communicate with on-premises network. So if you want to build IPsec secure tunnel between environments. So Azure Virtual Network will be give kind of a granular level access to give connection to other environment like internet between Azure resources, between on-premises resources, and also of course we can use network security groups for the network filtration. We will be talk in few seconds, and the routing the network traffic. For the routings we have services called in Azure route table. So we will be going through that service as well. Okay, let's move on. So for the demo we will I will be going through like creating the virtual network, configure the subnets, how to configure the peering between two virtual networks. Okay, this is how looks like the subnets in Azure Virtual Network. So in Azure, subnet is like a kind of a logical subdivision of virtual network. It's allow you to organize, isolate, and manage your network resource more effectively, just like dividing a large office into separate departments with their own secure areas. So when take each subnet, Azure will reserve 5 IP address for each subnet. Like for network address, reserved by Azure for the default gateway, reserved for map for Azure DNS IP to the VNet space, and of course for the network broadcast address. Okay, let's talk about configure virtual network peering. In Azure Virtual Network Peering, it's kind of a feature that lets you connect two or more virtual networks together seamlessly as if they were part of a single network. So let's assume that you have multiple VNets, virtual network in your Azure environment. So you need to build a connection between two networks. Without there no peering, you are not able to communicate with each other. I'm talking about the private connectivity, not the public connectivity. Of course, if you have public IPs in a virtual machine, if you want to connect with the other resources that are available in the different VNet, so yeah, you can connect with the publicly. I'm talking about the Azure backbone network, which is private network. If you want to connect with each other to VNet, you need to configure the peering connection between each network. To do that, there will be two types of peering. One is global and the regional. That means let's say you have one virtual network in Singapore data center, which is Southeast Asia region, and others in East Asia or Australian East. So in that case, of course, you can build the peering between those VNet as well. Even though if let's say you have one virtual network in different subscription, and you have another VNet in the different subscription on the same tenant, that also possible. If you have multiple VNets in different tenants also, that also possible. So those are the possibilities that virtual network peering comes in. As I mentioned earlier, peer network will be used the Azure backbone for privacy and isolation. Okay, let's move ahead. This is the exercise that we are going to do now. So first we will be create two virtual networks called App VNet and the Hub VNet. Hub VNet will be the entry network connectivity from the entire Azure subscription. Our network for the demo today. Then we will be configure the virtual network pairing those VNet as well. Okay, let's move to the demo. Okay, I'm already built the entire environment, so this is basically getting some kind of a lot of time to build, so that's why I already built the entire environment. But I will show you how to do configuration one by one. So first, in the first exercise, so we need to create a virtual network. To do that, there will be multiple ways you can create the virtual network. First, you can search. I'm assuming that you already know how to navigate the Azure portal. You can search the service here and click, or you can click this hamburger icon here and navigate to Azure Virtual Network here. Then you can create. Click on create. Okay, first you need to select the particular subscription, then the resource group. If you don't have any resource group, just create a new resource group. Then give a name. Okay, now I'm giving kind of a name, a VNet, and you need to select the particular region that you need to deploy this virtual network. And the security, we will not focusing on this area today, so we just focusing this network segmentation. Okay, first environment, you can see for the app VNet we will be using this address range, sorry, 10.1.0.0/16. this is the address range that we are going to use for today's demo. So just change your network address range here to 10.1 and 16. It's already selected. Now we need the subnet call. This is the address range for entire virtual network, 10.1.0.0/16. For under this address range we need multiple subnets. To do that, you can you can delete it and create it again. This is the default subnet that already created, so you can either edit it. Okay, just give a name. First we need a subnet call, what you call app VNet. Just give a name. I will quickly go through this, and this is the address range that we have created now. And here you just create a starting address here. We need 10.1.0/24. It has 24 IP addresses. It's already selected here, and just click on save. Then you need another subnet called backend. It will start from 10.1.1.0/24. You can click add subnet here, and it is called backend. Okay, this is the range. Starting address will be 10.1.1.0/24. This is the address range that we are now need to create. That's it. That is the IP range that we need for the what you call app VNet. And then you can create. I already create this VNet. This is called app VNet here. You can see I already create that subnet range, VNet range, and with the two subnets called front end and back end. Okay, now this portion is completed. So now we need to focusing on peering. Before peering, we need to of course create the hub VNet. It is called similar to this. You just need to follow the same method. with different range. Here we are using 10.0.0.0/16 instead of 1. Okay, this is the hub VNet that I have created. Same process, different range. This is the address range that I have created. Then we have subnet called Azure Firewall subnet. So let me show you quickly how you can create this subnet automatically. Okay, let's create again VNet, hub VNet, IP address. This is the range that we need for the hub VNet. Edit it, the subnet purpose. So here you can see we need subnet to Azure Firewall, right? So our purpose will be subnet for Azure Firewall. There's an option for that. You can see here this from this drop down, Azure Firewall subnet is available here. So it will be automatically getting the name as Azure Firewall subnet. That's how I created this subnet inside this hub VNet. You can see this is the hub VNet. It has already 56 IP addresses. Okay, now we already created this virtual 2 networks, FVNet and hub VNet. So then we need to configure the peering. That means we need to build the connection between two virtual networks. To do that, you can either navigate to one of the VNet, either hub VNet or app VNet, right? So let me navigate to FVNet. I will show you. Okay, once you navigate to the virtual network, so you can go to the blade call peerings here. It's under here, under settings. Then you need to click on add here. Okay, then you need to give a name. When you give in the name, this will be the remote virtual network summary. So this will be like when you name in the peering, so you need to give a proper name in. Let's say the peering will be configured with app VNet and hub VNet. So now I am going to do the peering between app VNet and hub VNet. So give like similar name like app VNet. So you can identify it later. What will be the peering that we are going to build? App VNet to hub VNet. Sorry. Okay, now you can select the subscription and the resource group. So no, here we need to select the remote virtual network. So remote virtual network will be our hub VNet. Then we already actually I already configured the VNet. That's why I am getting this error. So once you select the remote virtual network information, now you need to focusing on this area. So this is called allow hub VNet to access app VNet. Of course we need to give the access, right? Now vice versa, allow hub VNet to receive forwarded traffic from app VNet. Yes, of course we need that as well. You need to click that as well. So if you have any VPN appliance or Azure VPN, so you need the gateway route, you need to tick on that as well. Now we don't have any such VPN connectivity or gateway inside the hub VNet. So in this scenario we don't need to focus on that. So we just need to focus on these two connectivity as well, like forward traffic and incoming traffic. Now give a local virtual network summary, vice versa, give a similar name. Now to hub VNet here, then give a similar name like hub VNet to app VNet here. Then tick this as well, then add. That is how you creating the peering between two VNets. I'm getting this error because I already created the peering between those two VNets. That's why. So once you create this VNet peering, now I'll already create the vice versa peering, right? So this will be appearing in both VNets, not only app VNet. Let's navigate to the hub VNet. So you can see here in the peerings, it's already there, right? So I don't need to go into each and every subnet VNet. If I create this from app VNet, so it will be appear from here as well. So it will be showing as full synchronized and connected. Okay, that is how you configure the peering between two virtual networks. Now first demo part is over, let's move ahead. So here this is the content that we are following now, the configure Azure Virtual Network peering and the configure virtual networks. Those will be available in the Azure learning model. So my colleague will be sharing these two links with you in a bit, so while I am doing this session. So you can follow this link after this session and do the assessment and do the final assessment as well to get the what you call the credentials from the Azure Microsoft Learn. Okay, now let's focusing on the create and configure the network security group and the application security group. So the agenda will be security groups, what is network security group, and determine the NSG rules and implement application security groups. Okay, what is a network security group? Actually, it's a kind of a security layer that act like a virtual firewall for your Azure resources. It's used to control inbound and outbound traffic to and from Azure virtual machines, subnets, and other network interfaces based on the set of allow and deny roles. So it has multiple rule sets. It comes with a default rule set as well. So we are not able to delete or modify that rule set. What we can do is we can override those rules. I will show you in a bit what I'm talking about the rule. So it has kind of a, we can filter out the network traffic that come into the services that we are built inside the virtual network. So there will be a like network filtration capability built in network security group. So we can associate, so as you can see here, associate the subnet or a network interface to a network security group. And one most important thing, this is not a one-to-one mapping. So if you have multiple subnets, virtual network interfaces that you are using for virtual machine, so you can assign this network security group to multiple subnets or multiple NICs. That is one of the main advantage. Okay, this is the demo that we are going to do. Like we will be creating network security group, explore inbound outbound rules, create application security group, associate to the network security group. We will doing this demo in a bit. Okay, this is the rules that I previously talked about. So each NSG contains list of security rules that define like source and the destination information. As you can see here, source and the destination. So you can filter it by IP or a subnet or a tag or a service. I will show you what I'm talking about in this area. You can this filter out by IP address or services by your services, and of course the protocol that you need to focus on. So here you can see this is a 33889. This is a RDP protocol. So here it's using to filter out giving the access to the particular service. And there will be a column called action. What you need to do based on this rule, you need to allow the traffic or deny the traffic. Those will be there. And the main rules types are the inbound and outbound, inbound traffic and the outbound traffic. So there will be two rule sets mainly under the network security group. Okay, now let's focus about the application security group. Don't mix with the network security group and the application security group. It is totally different services. So basically, application security group doesn't have such a filtration capability. Let's say this is kind of a virtual, like a logical container. So it's kind of a application security group. Will let you group Azure virtual machine based on their application role rather than by IP address. You can then use the groups inside network security group rules to control the traffic between workloads dynamically instead of writing NSG rules using IP address, which IP address are changing often. So you can reference the ASG, and Azure automatically applies to rule that all VMs that belongs to those groups. So how it works, basically you can create an application security group. Example, here you can see web servers, DB servers, or app servers, etc. Then you can assign VMs NIC, network interface card, to one or more application security groups. In your network security group rules, you use the ASG name instead of IP address. So you don't need to create rules IP address by IP address. What you can do, let's say you have a web server cluster. In that case, you don't need to create rule one IP by one IP, one by one, right? In that case, what you can do is you can assign each virtual machine to the particular web server's application security group. Then you can create using this particular ASG to create the rules. As you can see here, the destination we selected web servers and DB servers ASG instead IP addresses, right? So that means here internet, the traffic will be coming through the internet. Destination will be our web server, that is our front end. The port that we are allowing is 80 and 443, HTTP and HTTPS. Then here you can see source will be our web servers, the NSG, that means our web server cluster. Here the destination will be the DB servers, so we are giving the access 1433 using this application security group instead IP addresses. Okay, once we create the services, you can get a broader idea so how it can connect it in between. Okay, this is the exercise that we are going to follow now. This is exercise number 2. So we are focusing on network security group and application security groups. Okay, in exercise number 2, so first of all we need two virtual machines. As you can see here, we have VM1 and VM2, but our focus area will be only networking portion, right? So I'm not going to show how to create virtual machine and all. So I already created two virtual machine under app vnet and hub vnet, app subnet and DB subnet. So inside my this resource group, I have these two virtual machines. Now first I am going to show you how to create an application security group first. To do that, just search on here application security groups. Okay, once you get to this location, you can click on plus create, and then as usual select the particular subscription and the resource group, then give a name like okay, and the region and the tags and create. We don't have complex creating steps here. We just need to give the name and region information, resource group and subscription only. So I have already created the application security group. Once you create it, it will be looks like this. It doesn't have any much granular level control. Just this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a logical container that we need to assign to multiple virtual machine. Okay, once you create this particular service, so once created, so what we are going to do is we will navigate to the particular virtual machine now. VM1. So here you can see this logo is specific for the application security group. This is network security group, NSG. So what we need to do is we need to include this app service front this VM1 to app front at ASG, application security group. How we associated it, let me show you. So I have already created the virtual machine VM1 call. Okay, here navigate to a particular VM. Now I need to associate application security group to this VM. To do that, we just need to virtual machines. Under networking you have blade called application security groups. Once you navigate to here, just click on add application security groups. Then this is the one that I have already created, called app frontend ASG. Just click on that and add. Okay, this is how you associate particular application security group to your virtual machine. Very easy and very straightforward. So first step is completed. Now we will focusing on the network security group. Okay, let me show you how to create the network security group. As usual, you can search the particular service here, network security groups, and create on plus, and then the resource group. Similar to ASG, application security group, we don't have much options here, right? Just the name. Give the name, region, resource group, and subscription. That's it. There's no complex configurations here. Once you create it, it will be similar to this. Let me navigate to the one that I have already created, app VNet ASG. So now we need to associate an NSG to virtual machine 2. To do that, okay, now you need to navigate to virtual machine now. VM2, right? Now we are focusing on the VM2, not the VM1. VM1 already assigned with the ASG. Now we are focusing on the VM2. Okay, go to the resource group and the VM2. Okay, now go to network settings. Now already I assigned the particular network security group. If not, you need to attach this network security group here. This is the network security group here. You can see here, let's say this one. If you want to, this is the virtual network interface card of this particular VM, VM2382, VM2382. If you want to like disassociate it, that also possible. What you want to do is, from here you can see this is under my network interface card of virtual machine VM2 NSG here. If you want to disassociate it, just click on none and save it. Now I already assigned it to app VNet network security group. Now I will show you how to create a particular role under the network security group. So association is very straightforward. You just need to go to particular VM network settings, and you can assign the network security group here. So you can create the roles from here as well, inbound and outbound role, or else here you can see inbound or outbound roles. Once you assign the network security group, you can create the role from here as well, or else you can directly navigate to the particular network security group here, and you can create the roles from here as well. Once you navigate to that inbound security, so I will show you how to create the inbound security role now. To do that, just click on add. Then here we can have the field called source. This is where the traffic will be coming through, right? So we will be choosing between these options. It can be any IP address, so we will be allowing any traffic that comes into our Azure network, that will be allowed. So I'm not actually like recommending to choose any at all, because it will be a huge network risk if you are selecting any. if you have any like kind of a virtual VPN or any firewall appliances, so you just use that as a private connection. Do not open your any ports to publicly. That will be a huge security risk. So you can select the particular source here. For now, for the demo purpose, I'm just selecting the any source. So any networking source, so it will come into the traffic will be allowed. And the source port range, for here you can specify specific port if you want to filter it out, 80 or 443 or any other port, RDP port or SSH port. That is the port source port range here. Then the destination, that is where the destination information is selected. So here I'm going to, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to select the specific IP addresses here. If you have multiple services, so we have to create multiple rules, right? Or we need to adding manually one by one. Let's say we have a cluster of web servers, so web servers will be expanding dynamically. So in that case, we have to add this IP address manually, so that is not a good practice. So what we are going to do is, so we have already application security group. So if any web server comes in under the application security group, so it will be automatically assigned this role automatically. So it is very easy to configure. So I'm not choosing IP address here, I'm choosing application security group. The destination will be ASG. Then here this is the what you call the application security group that we have created. You need to select the particular ASG here, and the service will be, for the demo purpose, I have actually Ubuntu server, so I'm choosing SSH here. So it will be, once I selected the SSH service, it will be automatically detecting the port, which is port 22, and the protocol TCP, and then the action. If you want to allow the network traffic, inbound traffic from any sources, any port ranges, so you need to click on allow. Then the priority, that is also very important. So if you want to overwrite any particular existing rules, so what you need to do is give a high priority number here, so it will be overwrite with the existing rule that you have already in there, right? That is the priority comes in. And then the naming here and the description. Okay, that's all information here. Once you create it, so you will be getting rule like this. I'm getting this explanation mark because I'm allowing any source. That is actually very security risk. That's why I'm getting this explanation mark here. And of course I need to talk about, these are the rules, that default rules that already built in under this network, each every network security group. So these are not able to delete or edit by ourselves, right? So what we can do is, we can create custom rules and override the particular rules from it. Otherwise we are not able to delete or edit it. So similarly we have outbound traffic, that means the connections that we need to establish from Azure to outside Azure. So here also we can similarly create rules here, similar for fields available, source, destination, service that you need to utilize, the port ranges, protocol, same rule set will be there. Okay, that is the demo for this exercise 2. Then move to the next slide. So this is the module that we already covered, configure network security group. So my colleague will be sharing you the link information under the chat, so you can follow along with me. Okay, now let's focusing about create and configure Azure firewall. Okay, so the agenda will be, we will be discuss what is Azure firewall and what is Azure firewall policy and how to create it, how to configure the roles, DNet role, SNet roles, and the application rules. So I will be following those information in next slides. Okay, what is Azure Firewall? It's a kind of a cloud native, fully managed network security service provided by Microsoft Azure, and it's this like designed to protect Azure Virtual Networks by controlling inbound, outbound, and VNet to VNet traffic using centralized and scalable rules. And it's a kind of stateful, and it has layer 3 to 7 firewall as a service that inspect the and filter the traffic across your Azure environments. Because it's fully managed by Microsoft, you don't need to handle any patching, scaling, or high availability configuration. Those are already built in automatically. So you don't need to focus on those things. That is the main advantage under the managed services, right? So when talking about the Azure Firewall, it comes in main now. Now we have 3 SKUs called Basic Firewall, Standard, Premium. So Basic actually has kind of a lightweight, cost optimized option for small environment. So we are not able to recommend such SKU to enterprise level solutions. So standards provides like of L3 to L7 filtering, FQDN filtering, DNet, SNAT, and the threat intelligence. Those will be comes under the standard Azure Firewall. Then the premium. It actually has built-in ETLS inspection, IDPS, and the web category filtering as well. Okay, let's move ahead, and this will be the demo that we are going to follow. So we will be creating Azure Firewall and the firewall policy, and create roles within the firewall policy. Okay, now let's look at how we create Azure Firewall roles. For Azure Firewall Manager, so we have a service called Azure Firewall Manager. So it helps to us to centralize the firewall management across multiple environments, so we can apply consistent and security policies from one place. So in Azure firewall policies are containers, like kind of a containers that holds all the rules, configuration, and controlling traffic flow. So it has NAT rules. This will be handling the incoming connections. NAT will handle the incoming connections. For an example, when external user need to access your internal web application, so that is where NAT rules comes in. Then we have rule called network rules. You can see these are the available options. Then we have network rules. These define like traffic between source and the destination IPs, protocols, and ports, and it will be controlling how different parts of the network communicate. So I will be showing how to create network rules as well. Then we have a rule called application rule. This allow to access the specific FQDN, fully qualified domain names, or domain names from within the subnet. Or it is like kind of a useful when you want to restrict web access to trusted sites only. On the right, you can see that example firewall policy in the Azure portal, where we can manage DNet network application rule connections along with the DNS settings for name resolution. So I will be going to this environment as well. Okay, this is the exercise for the exercise number 3. So we will be focusing on the Azure Firewall now. Okay, for the Azure Firewall, we need to have a hub VNet, right? We already created the particular VNet as I mentioned earlier. It is called hub VNet. So because we need a specific subnet called firewall subnets, I already show that initially. This is the hub VNet that I am talking about. Under 10.0.0.0/76, we have a specific subnet called Azure Firewall subnet. 10.0.0.0/26, which includes 56 IP addresses for specifically for the Azure firewall. So here, okay, this is the subnet I'm talking about. So we need to associate this subnet with our Azure firewall. I have already created the Azure firewall. Here you can see, but I will show you how to create that as well. Okay, firewalls, then create plus here. Okay, as usual you need to select the particular subscription and the resource group, and of course the name and the region. As I mentioned earlier, it has 3 main SKUs: basic, standard and premium. So you can select whatever need from here. From the firewall management, actually this is kind of a classic management, which is rule based. Now we are focusing on the policy based on this demo environment. So for the policies, initially you just need to have at least one firewall policy, right? So that is where this already inbuilt what you call the firewall policy I already created. Then you can use existing VNet, or you can create a new virtual network to a specific firewall. From here you can select your virtual network here, hub VNet. I'm getting this error because I already create an under this VNet. That's why I am getting this error. Once you create it, you will be able to select your virtual network and the public IP address. Of course, we need a specific public IP address to reach from the public, right? So we need to assign public IP address of our firewall as well. That is where we need to create new IP address here. You can see that I am getting this error. Firewall subnet is already associated because I already associate this virtual network with the existing firewall. So once you create the select the particular SKU, then you need to select the firewall policy based firewall. This is kind of a classic option that we are not going to talk about today. Then the firewall policy, of course we need to at least one policy to configure the Azure firewall. Then the virtual network, either you can create a new virtual network or use existing virtual network. So as I already assigned with this virtual network, I am getting this error. So then you need to select the new IP address here. If you have any unassigned IP address, of course you can select that as well. Then the tax information, and review and create. Once you create, so it will take around 10 to 15 minutes for standard firewall to create. So once you create the Azure firewall, so it will getting these two services, Azure firewall service and as well as the firewall policy that I talked you before. Okay, once you create the firewall, it's look like this. So you will be getting the specific public IP address for this Azure firewall as well as the private IP address here. Then as you can see, this is the policy that assigned with this Azure firewall. You can see VNet firewall. Okay, that is where the firewall manager I already talked about, and this is the public IP configuration. Okay, this is the IP address for the public Azure firewall. So now we are mostly focusing on the policy. That is where we configure the rules, a specific rule for this particular Azure firewall instance. That is first we need to focus on creating this firewall policy here. So let me navigate to that. Here this is the Azure firewall policy. As you can see, as I showed you earlier, so it has multiple roles called DNAT, network roles, application roles. So I will show you how to create each and every, like I will show you network and application rule creation. First of all, I will navigate to application rule. So when you create in the application rule, so basically you need to go to navigate to this here and click on add rule collection. Here give a name demo app rule, and the rule collection type, of course it will be application, not network. Then the priority mean if you have multiple role sets, so you need to manage the priority. Just give a priority based on your requirement. Then of course you based on the action, what the required action for this particular role. You need to allow the traffic or deny the traffic. Based on that you can choose. Then the collection group. So we are using the application group, right? Application rule. So in that case we need to select the application rule collection group, not the network or not the DNet. Once you clear that, so just get kind of a name, and then firewall connection. Here you can give kind of a name like this, firewall route connection, and no. So we need to give kind of a allow the Azure pipeline access. This is the DevOps Azure pipeline. So let's say we have DevOps pipeline in Azure DevOps. So we need to give the particular outbound network access from your application VM1, right? So in that case we are creating particular application rule from Azure firewall to allow that access the Azure DevOps pipelines. To do that, as I mentioned earlier, you just need to create choose this information from here, then give the name, and then the IP address. This is the IP address source. IP address source mean where the source VMs available. So up front end, so this VM1 is connected under the subnet called front end. It is called 10. It has 10.1.0.0/24. This is the subnet that VMs1 comes in, right? So that is we need to the traffic will be coming through. So that is the source of this role. So we need to give the IP address of this 10.1.0.0/24. What is the protocol that we need to access? Okay, now it should be HTTPS. We don't have TLS inspection because this is the, as I mentioned earlier, I selected standard firewall SKU. That is the reason for I'm not getting this option. So then we need to select the destination type will be FQDN because we are going to allow the traffic to Azure DevOps pipeline, right? So DevOps pipeline FQDN will be dev.azure.com. So we need to give the particular URL like FQDN here. So it will be allowing traffic from this network range. So I hope you understand this. This is the traffic comes in. This is the source environment. This is the destination. This environment VMs need to access this particular Azure DevOps pipelines. So we are allowing this particular traffic from this role. It is very straightforward. Giving the priority, allowing the connection, give the source information and the protocol and the destination information. Destination will be FQDN, which is dev.azure.com and azure.microsoft.com. This is the role that I similarly created, same as that. It's allowing the traffic. Now I am focusing on creating the network role. Similarly, you need to go to the network roles and create a role connection and give a name like we are going to do the second role called Azure DNS resolution. This is the firewall role that I am going to create, Azure DNS resolution. And rule connection will be, of course, we are creating network roles. You need to select network. Then the priority will be, you can choose whatever you want based on the requirement. So we are going to allow the traffic. then choose the allow, and the network connection group will be network connection, because we are creating network rule. And then the give a name here, rule connection group, default network rule connection group. The rule will be called allowing DNS. We can type it like allowing DNS. So DNS will be allowing to this front end similar source information as we inputted before, similar range, same range. The protocol will be UDP. Of course, for the allowing DNS, of course we need to choose port 53. The destination address will be 1.1.1. So these roles can be customized based on your requirement, based on the roles that you need to configure. This is how you need to create the network rules from Azure Firewall. Once you give the particular source information for specifically for this demo, that is where our source environment comes in, and we need to allow the DNS from port 53. Then once you give the particular information, just click on add. Okay, this is how a similar role that I already created. Okay, now that demo part is over, that is how you create the particular roles under the Azure Firewall, under the network policy, firewall policy. Then this also have similar module under the Azure Microsoft Learn module called Introduction to Azure Firewall. So my colleague will be sharing those information while I'm doing this training, so you can follow along with me. Let's focusing now on the configure network routing. Okay, this will be the agenda for the network routing. So I will be reviewing the system routes and the UDR called user defined routes. So here I will be talking about the routing tables, how to create that and how to create the routing and the VNet links. Those information I will be demonstration throughout this session. Give me 1 second. Okay, for the demo I will be creating the route table and create a route in the route table, and the associating the route table to a subnet I will be doing during the demo. Okay, first we will talk about the system routes. This is the default routes that automatically comes in. So Azure automatically creates system routes, and it will be assigned to the routes to each subnet in a virtual network. So but you can't create system routes, and you can't even remove the system route, but you can override some of the system route with the custom routes, because this inbuilt routes that Microsoft is automatically created. As you create this default system routes for each subnet and adds more optional default routes to a specific subnet or every subnet when you use specific Azure capabilities. This is where system routes comes in. As I mentioned earlier, we don't even delete or modify these system defined routes. So what you can do is we can use user defined route, UDR routes. So we can create routes by ourselves. So here, let's say if you have a front-end app, so our front-end app has IP range called 10.1.0.0/24. so it will try to reach any external IP FQDN. So you need to create a UDR to intercept the packet, right? Because we do have Azure Firewall in front of our application. So we need to create a specific route to allow the traffic to go in through the Azure firewall, right? Because now the traffic not going to the directly to the internet, because now the traffic should be going through the Azure firewall. To do that, we need to create a specific user defined route. So I will show you how to create that specific route to do that. So route will be using the firewall IP address, private IP address. So it will be in firewall will be inspected and apply the particular policies. If you have the premium SKU, so it will be TLS inspection will be there, and then perform the SNAT forward to the particular destination. So firewall will be managing the traffic. For this exercise 4, we will be focusing on this route table called app VNet firewall route. So it will be help to define the route from VM1 to public internet. So I will show you how to configure the routing here. So this is the exercise for here. First of all, we need to create a route table. Similarly, just search the service called route table here, click it. As you can see, I already created one. You need to create one from here. Just as usual, just select the particular subscription and the resource group, and give a region and give a name RT. If you want to propagate the gateway routes, gateway route also, if you want to manage through using this route table, you need to click yes on this and just click review create. Once you create this is the one that I already created for this demonstration. So it is look like this. So it doesn't have much information. These are the UDRs that I already created. So I will show you how to create one by one. So first of all, you need to go to the firewall, because we need the IP address of the Azure firewall. We are going to create a UDR route from the route table. Let me navigate to our firewall first. This is the Azure firewall. So this is our firewall private IP address, not the public, because we are define the routing using the Azure backbone networking, not the public. And copy the particular private IP address of the firewall, then go to here. Okay, first off, before creating the UDR, first of all you need to associate your subnet. Now we have two subnet, right? Subnet called front end subnet and back end subnet. For this app VNet, we have two subnets under this VNet. So we need to associate particular subnets here. So to do that, just click on subnets here and click on associate, and then you will be able to select any virtual networks available for you. Then create the particular VNet and the subnet information here one by one, then click on associate. That is where I associate these two subnets here, front end and back end. I already associated to that particular route table. Once you associate the two back subnets, so we need to create a route in the route table. To do that, go to the particular route table. Now already navigate to that, and then create on the routes, then click on add. Now we already copied the particular firewall IP address, so give a name like we need a rule called outbound connectivity, right? Outbound firewall or something. So the destination type will be IP address. So we need to access the outside network like internet, right? So we can put like IP address 0.0.0/0. Then The next hop will be of virtual appliance. Virtual appliance mean our firewall, right? That is the network routing will be comes in. So that means that we have two subnets here. We need to navigate the traffic through from the Azure firewall. To do that, for the destination, next hop type will be Azure network appliance. Then you need to give the next hop virtual appliance and the IP address here. This is the Azure firewall IP address. Okay. Then I already added the similar role already, so I am not able to do that again. So once you create this rule, so our traffic will be going through the Azure firewall. So this is called user defined route, UDR. You can see here, right? User defined route. This is not a system defined route. This is override the system defined route. So if you want to manually create the route, so that is where this routes UDR comes in. So you can manually create the particular routes here. So once you created this firewall rule, I already created here. So your traffic will be going through the what you call Azure firewall. This is 10.0.04 means our firewall private IP address. So your all of the traffic will be going through this Azure firewall. That is how you create the user defined route in Azure, routing tables. Okay, that's all for this exercise 4. Let's move on. Now we are focusing on routing. We already talked about that routing. So it has also a specific module called manage and control traffic flow in your Azure deployment with routes. So my colleague will be share those information as usual in the chat. Okay, let's now focusing on creating DNS on and configure DNS settings. This is the agenda for the Azure DNS. So we will be talking about what is Azure DNS and how to create DNS record, how to enable the auto registration and all. Okay, DNS. So I assume that you already know DNS. What is DNS? Of course, domain name system is responsible for translating or resolving service names to an IP address. You already know that. So Azure DNS provides a similar thing. So Azure DNS provides Azure DNS hosting, resolution, and load balancing for your application using Microsoft Azure infrastructure. Azure DNS supports both internet-facing DNS domains and private DNS zones. So it has, you can see how the service will be comes in. So we will be similar DNS handshake. So first we will be request the DNS request private.contoso.com. Then we will be responding the particular IP address for this FQDN. Then we will be read the VM. Similar thing that you already know. For the demo, we will be focusing on creating a private DNS zone, then adding the DNS record set and link a VNet for auto registration. This is the DNS record set that available for the Azure DNS. So you can give the particular domain FQDN name. Similar this, you can give the name and the record type. It could be a record, it could be a CNAME. Whatever the record type, you can give the information here, and the alias record as well as the TTL values and the IP address that you want to resolve the particular FQDN. For the exercise 5, we will be focusing on, as I mentioned earlier, for the DNS, Azure DNS. Let's create a private DNS. As usual, just private DNS zones. Then click on here, create here. Or you can give a name like Contoso to similar name, whatever the name that you want to manage. we don't need to focus on here editing the DNS on information. If you want to do that here, during the DNS zone creation, private DNS zone creation, you can actually attach your existing virtual link. That also possible. I'm not going to link right now, so I will show you how to link after the creation as well. Once you give this information, you will be directed to the review and create the particular service. So I already create the service Azure DNS here, contoso.internal.com. so this, okay, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to add a particular record similar from the domain control, it's a DNS record. So if you want to add a record, you need to go to the record set under DNS management, then click on add, then give a name, any name, and the record type, and then the type will be a record, CNAME, MX, SR, TXT, whatever the record information that you need to give, and then give the particular IP address here, add it. That's very straightforward, same as the your domain controller DNS configuration that you already know. Once you add the DNS records, so you can check how to link the particular virtual networks. Let's say you need to resolve this particular private.contoso.com DNS. So what you need to do, so let's say assume that this virtual machine VM1 need to access particular web service called private.contoso.com, but you don't have DNS records in building. Let's say your host file don't have this particular record information, so that is where we can use Azure DNS. So to do that, so let's say we have the particular DNS records under this record set. What you need to do is you can link this particular DNS onto your virtual network. So in that case, your virtual network able to resolve the particular FQDN from the Azure DNS service. To do that, what you need to do is just navigate to your private DNS zone, and then go to the virtual network links under DNS management. Then here you can click add and add in the link name, any name, and the subscription and the virtual network. If you want to assign a specific virtual network, you can select the virtual network from here, from the drop down. Here you can enable the auto registration as well. These settings enable automatic creation of DNS record in the private DNS zone for the virtual machines connected to the virtual network. So it will be automatically creation the DNS record. So you can tick on this and create it. Once you link the particular virtual network, this I already run, my app VNet already linked with this DNS zone. You are now able to resolve this particular private contoso.com FQDN. So to double check that, you can navigate to this virtual network app VNet. You can see it's already there. Let's check if it is available or not. DNS, you can see right from our app VNet on the DNS, you can see it's already linked. So you have connected to this private DNS zone, you will be able to resolve this particular DNS. Okay, that is all for this exercise for number 5. I believe this is the final one. Let me check. Okay, this also have host module called host your domain on Azure DNS. So as usual, my colleague will be share those information with you. Okay, that is all for today's training. So basically I hope you enjoy this training and learn something related to the Azure networking fundamental. So what I'm suggesting you to do is once this is training is over, so just navigate to that particular URL main module I already shared with you. Just go through this content, and do the assessment has in each and every module. So you can see each and every module has assessment. Complete those each and everything. Once you're done, just complete this final assessment. It will be getting 2 hours to complete. Once you completed it, if you're not able to do it, it will take another 72 hours, right? You can see here. Just get it done. Yeah, once you complete it, so you will be getting a kind of a badge you can share with your networking, share with your LinkedIn and all. Just make sure you are logging with your personal Microsoft account. So we will be sharing feedback form after this session, so just make sure to submit that as well. And if you want to follow us, just go to LinkedIn and follow us. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to us to any time. Okay, thank you very much for joining. If you have anything, I think my colleague will be already help you through the entire session. Okay, do you have anything to add, Nivanta, here?
No, Umesh.
Okay.
I think we can wrap up the session.
Okay.
And also thank you joining us today. And stay tuned with us. We are planning to do some Azure fundamental certification focus batch 2 in started next month. And we will update you regarding that. Uh, I think again, thank you very much for joining with us today.
Okay, nice. So as my colleague said, we have another session for AZ-900, which is Azure Fundamentals. If you are interested in, so you can follow us on LinkedIn. So we will be sharing those information with the LinkedIn, so you can register and join us again with us. So thank you very much for joining. Have a nice day. Thank you.